The first quote is from Carranglan, the chemist of 2010. He said, "Some people think that science is just all this technology around. But no, it's something much deeper than that. Science, scientific thinking, scientific method is for me the only philosophical construct that the human race has developed to determine what is reliably true." Okay, Harry Croton, the chemist of 2010, said in his quote that we can only find the true meaning of something or the true origin of something by the use of the science and technology. So, for example, the Big Bang Theory. So, we all know that the Earth is came from that theory, and the theory is from science, and also the origin of humans. Science said that human are came from the apes, and there's a lot of studies that by the use of science they define the true meaning of something they are looking for. The second quote that I chose is from Michio Kaku, the physicist of 2014. He said that science, however, is never conducted as a popularity contest, but instead of advances through testable, reproducible, and falsifiable theories. So, we all know that there's a lot of scientists and there's a lot of theories and studies that they made using the science. But for Michio Kaku, the physicist of 2014, said that all of the scientists made those theories and studies not for the popularity or contest, because they made that studies or theories for the betterment of everybody, for the betterment of economy, and for a new informations that can transfer to different generations. The third quote that I've chose is from Lise Meitner of 1953, and she is the physicist of that year. She said that science make people rich unselfishly for truth and objectivity. It teaches people to accept reality with wonder and admiration, not to mention the deep awe and delight that the natural order of all things brings to the true scientist. So, Elise Metier said here that science removes all of us from being ignorant. And little did we know that without science, there is no development. Without science, we will never know the real meaning of something or the real origin of something. And because of science, people reach unselfishly for the truth and objectivity. It only says that when we already know the real meaning of something because of science, we we have the courage to share it from others, especially the new generations. And because of that, we are not anymore selfish of something that we know. The fourth one quote that I chose is from Albert Einstein of 1951, and he is a physicist. He said that science is a wonderful thing. If one does not have to earn someone's living at it, one should earn one's living by work of which one is sure one is capable. Only when we do not have to be accountable to anybody can we find joy in scientific endeavor. So I think Albert Einstein want to said from his quote that science is a competition because many scientists are making new theories for the betterment like that, or adding more studies from that previous studies, so that it can make, or it can, that study can look like much more reliable or truth. The fifth quote that I've chose is from Marie Curie, the chemist and physicist of the year 1923. She said that our society, in which reigns an eager desire for riches and luxury, does not understand the value of science. It does not realize that science is a most precious part of its moral patrimony. Not does it take sufficient cognizance of the fact that science is at the base of all the progress that lightens the burden of life and lessen its suffering. So Marie Curie said from her quote that science is not just for money, science is not just for fame, or science is not for contests. Just like from the quote of Albert Einstein, because science has a great help to the society. Science give us ease from every problems that we face, and because of science there's a lot of development in this society. So we should always inculcate in our mind that the science is at the base of all progress in this society. The sixth quote that I've chose is from C.V. Raman, the physicist of the year 1970. He said that I strongly believe that the fundamental science cannot be driven by the instruction, null, industrial, and government or military pressures. This was the reason why I decided, as far as possible, not to accept money from the government. Okay, just like the previous quote that I read from Marie Curie and Albert Einstein, they said that science it is not just for money. Science is not just for fame. But science is for the betterment. Science is for the progress. And the Brahman, the physicist of 1970, also said that science cannot be controlled by any powerful person or any powerful means. So even the government, he said from its quote, that the government will not control the science. Okay, the seventh quote that I chose is from the year 1990 from Claude Levi-Strauss, the anthropologist. He said that, nor must we forget that in science there are no final truths. So have we ever not wondered why there's a lot of theories. For example, for that one problem, for example, the origin of the earth, there's a lot of theories on that, but have we ever not wondered why they are still making a study on that? So from the theory, or from the quote that I've read, the quote of Cloudy, he said that there is no final truth. So it means that all studies, all theories are just an opinion, just an ideas, just a theory, but not yet that the truth. So if there is still a lot of scientists, the searching for the truth is not yet finished. Okay, the eighth quote that I've chose is from the year 1980, from the planetary scientist Carl Sagan. He said that science is a self-correcting process. To be accepted, new ideas must be survived the most rigorous standards of evidence and scrutiny. I think Carl Sagan said from his quote that if there is a new theory and the theory must have a new reliable sources or ideas for the validity of that study, or before it being approved or accepted by the scientists. There should be a lot of evidence, there should be a lot of new ideas for that new theories to be accepted. The ninth quote that I've choose is from the 1982, and it is from Ernest Mayr, the evolutionary biologist. He said that it is curious how often erroneous theories have had a beneficial effects for particular branches of Mr. Ernest Mayr said from his quote that every literal studies, every little theories that the scientists made or being approved or being accepted are so very important for the betterment of every branches of science. Why? Because there's a lot of question that can answer because of one simple theory that being accepted or being approved. The last quote that I've chose is from the year 1955 from Erwin Schrödinger, the physicist of that year. He said that science is a game. In the presentation of scientific problem, the other player is the good Lord. He has not only set the problem, but also has devised the rules of the game. But they are not completely known. Half of them are left for you to discover or to deduce. So Erwin said that science is a game. There is someone who will make the problem, and there is someone who will going to solve the problem, creating a problem for someone to solve it, like that. And when that scientist or someone solve the problem, he will never solve that fully, but he will going to leave a half or a little problem for you to solve, for the next generation to solve that problem. That's why theories and studies are not the true, are not the answer to look for the real truth. I mean, thank you, ma'am.